Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pendant. Something a bit different for you. Bit of a tricky one if you fancy a challenge, a bit fiddly. I've put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make this pendant, along with links to my Etsy shop, my Facebook page and my Instagram. So please come over and share your finished things. I'd love to see all your finished work. To make this pendant you'll need 0.8mm wire, that's 20 gauge, and I've cut 6 lengths at 6 inches, which is 15 centimetres. You'll need 0.3mm weaving wire, which is 28 gauge, and you'll need approximately 200 centimetres. My silver comes wound on this little plastic bobbin. I usually use the bobbins by Bobeeze. These are brilliant. I'll put a link to these in the description below, but I'm just going to leave that on there for today. If you don't have a bobbin, then just cut lengths as you go. You'll need 1.5mm wire, which is 14 gauge, and I've cut one length at 7 inches, which is 18 centimetres. You'll need a small cab. Mine is 7mm. Anything about this size will do. I think generally they come at 5mm sizes, but this is slightly bigger at a 7, and it's got a flat back. Tools. Today I've got quite a lot of tools. I'll be using my bail pliers because we've got the thicker wire. I've got my old wire cutters for the thicker wire so that I don't damage my new ones. I've got my pliers. These are the xuron tweezer nose. I've got my normal razor wire cutters that I use. Those are Tronex. I've got my round nose pliers and nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry because that's not important. So take your thicker wire and we're going to start right in the centre. So grip the wire with the strongest part of your pliers at the back there. And we're going to put a V into the wire. Like that. And then we're going to curve. Just going to shape the sides here. Do the same on this side as well. And take your time with it, we want to get both sides looking roughly the same. So you've got this shape. And then where the wires cross over at the top, we're going to bend them out. And that one as well in roughly the same place. So now we're going to shape the top. So we'll have one side to be quite long. And we'll have the other side to be roughly half. Roughly half. And then take your bail pliers, and we're going to use the smallest size. I'm just going to curl this around. I wouldn't recommend using round nose pliers because this thick wire does tend to kill pliers very quickly. So I'm just curling this wire around. And I'll curl the other one around as well. It's just a little curl on the other side. So we got this shape. So take your weaving wire, and we're just going to attach these two wires together at that neck point there. 3 times around the bottom wire to attach it. And then around both of them, about 5 times. And then another 3 times around this side. And cut those wires on both sides. Just flattening them down. So that's what we've got so far. So I've just pulled the shape out a little bit on the side so it's a little bit more rounded. So take 3 of your 6 wires, and we're going to start right in the middle. So find the centre point. And take your weaving wire. And we're going to start with 3 wraps around that bottom wire. Just trying to find my centre point. About there. And we'll go once around the bottom 2 wires. Up between the bottom 2 wires. We'll go straight over the top, so we've gone around the top 2, under the bottom, and around the bottom 2 again. So we'll keep doing that. Come up between the bottom 2 wires and over the top, under the bottom and around the bottom 2. So we're wrapping once around the bottom 2 and once around the top 2. And we'll repeat that a few more times. So I did a little bit more of that weave. tail off at the beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to the side here, and you want it to sit so your weave comes before the halfway point, so it's like that. So your weave falls short of the halfway point, this being the halfway point here. And leaving the weaving wire where it is, I'm going to take all 3 wires and I'm going to bend them around, holding that weave firmly in place. Straighten those wires out a little bit. And take it weaving wire, and you want to hold that so you want it to sit pretty central there like that. I'm going to cut the weaving wire, leaving like a longer length on there. And I'm going to pass the weaving wire behind and through so it follows the wires, because I want my weave to start over this side. And we'll go 3 times around that bottom wire, and then pull the wires together. Go around both wires and up between them, so I'm doing the same weave. I'm not doing the same weave at all, I'm doing a completely different weave. So I've gone around the top, around both wires, and over the top. I'll start again. So we'll go over the top and up between those middle wires like that, over the top, underneath the bottom wire, and around that bottom wire. So we keep repeating that, straight over the top and up between the 2 wires, around the top again, underneath the bottom wire, and around the bottom wire. And I'll repeat that a few more times. And I love this weave, but you must keep pushing it together as you go. We'll keep repeating that a little bit further. So I've done more repeats on that weave there. And I'm going to bend that weave now to come around like that. And I'm going to post it through to the other side. I know this seems a bit crazy, but it'll all make sense soon. So we've got a nice scoop shape there. So now take the bare wire and follow that scoop. And then holding that shape, I'm going to post that wire through as well. So that wire sits next to the other ones. Totally misshaped mine. So I'm bending these wires now down just a little bit, because we're going to add and do exactly the same thing with the other three on the other side. So take your other three wires and starting roughly in the middle, take your weaving wire, and we're going to do the same weave that we did on the other one. So 3 wraps around the bottom wire, and we're going to go 1 wrap around the bottom 2, up between the bottom 2, and a wrap around the top 2. Underneath the bottom wire, wrap around the bottom 2, up between the bottom 2 wires, straight over the top. And you need to repeat that roughly the same as what you did for the other side. We're just going to copy the other side now and mirror that. So we need to do a few more repeats. So I'm going to cut that tail end off. And this is going to go this side. Bend those down a bit out the way. So holding this weave in place. Again, if you imagine a line down the middle, you want your weave to fall short of that centre position. So it needs to be there. So holding it firmly in place, bend these wires around, and this time they're going to go this way. So I've turned the whole piece upside down, and we're doing the same thing now for the other side. I need to straighten my wires. And I need to cut my weaving wire as we did for the other side. It's about 80 centimetres, roughly. Cut 80 centimetres of weaving wire. If I can just untangle myself. I'm going to post that round as well. and then just working on those bottom 2 wires. I need to do that little weave. So starting with your wraps on the bottom. Doing what we did for the other side, so we go straight over the top and around that top wire, over the top, underneath the bottom wire and around that bottom wire, and we repeat that a few times. So I've done roughly the same amount of weave as I did for the other side. Should have measured it really so I got them exact. And then I'm going to put a curve. So we're doing exactly what we did for the other side. Bit tricky to handle this one. So when you're happy with that it looks like the other side, we're going to hold that weave the best we can, bend this wire, and feed it through to the other side. And the weaving wire. Getting myself in the right knot here. And then we want this wire to scoop around to follow that scoop, to follow the weave. So bend it around and then post it through to the back. And you want it to sit next to the weave. Ended up being quite fiddly, this one. Well, at least we're halfway through it now anyway. So these wires go down and these wires go up. So you can see the shape starting to show now in the middle. So now I'm just going to secure these sides a bit more so they don't keep moving around. So get it where you want it to sit. You want this to be quite high like that, about halfway. We're just above halfway there. And then take the bottom 2 wires. We're going to bend those around again. I'm holding that weave firmly in place so I don't misshape it. And then this third wire, I'm going to bring that over. And I'm going to put a curl on the bottom of that there. So I'm finishing off these wires. And I'm going to cut this one as well. Quite short, to put a little curl on that. So sorry if I went off screen then. I've cut those two. And I've cut that one there quite short. Just going to squeeze those around that base. I can cut that weaving wire as well. Thought I was going to use that. So we'll do the same for the other side as well. Taking the bottom two wires, holding everything firmly in place. Take the bottom two wires. We're going to post those through again. It is going to be worth all the wrestling, I promise. Wiggle those so they're nice and tight. And then get that last wire, bring it around to a scoop. So we're going to cut those two off at the back, so they finish at the back there. My hands look awful in this video. It's all the washing. Keep washing your hands so much, it makes all your skin dry. So then we're going to flatten those two around, just squeezing them to the frame. We've got that one. I'm just going to curl that in a minute when I'm ready. And we're ready to finish it off. So that's what we've got so far. Taking one of those pieces of scrap wire that I've just cut off from the back. And I'll wrap 3 times around any wire just to attach it. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap around the whole thing. So you've now got to post it to the back and then back to the front. And you want all your wires sat flat next to each other. And we're going to go around the whole thing, and you don't want to bunch them together, you want to keep them nice and flat. So you want to keep going around all 6 wires. So we're tying them all together, but we're tying them together flat. So I've gone round and round and round, and you don't have to make it tidy because you're not going to be able to see this part, so that's fine. And try and keep them next to each other, don't let them overlap each other. And now I'm going to go around any of the top wires just to secure that weave in place, and I'll wrap around that a few times. I'm going to go around that top wire. So now I'm going to clip that, and I'll clip that off because that's only short. And that's what we've got so far. There it is. We're now going to attach this little stone in the middle there. By wrapping these wires around it. I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to bend these wires first, because if I try and bend them around the stone, it's going to be a nightmare. I might just add a little bit of weave to the wires first. So I'm going to take my weaving wire and I'm going to add coils to the middle wire on both sides. So take your weaving wire and just wrap it around and around and around that middle wire. Press it together. Just keep adding coils. Then cut the tail off from the beginning and slide that down as far as you can. Do that for both sides. I've already done it for the other side. Then we'll push our wires back together. So now I'm going to put my thumb where the stone's going to be in the middle, bend the wires over, and imagine I'm bending them over my stone. And I'm going to turn it over and do the same to the other side. Bring the wires back onto themselves, bend them over, if you can imagine bending them over the stone. So now I'm just shaping them so that they do go around the stone nicely, like that. Now I've done way too many weaves, so I'm going to slide that coil down as far as it'll go, and And I'm going to strip it back a bit because I've got too much, and on the other side I need to strip that back a bit too. So I've undone my weaves so they're not my coiled wire, so it's not as long. And you have to be careful when you're undoing them for this type of design because it might have slipped because it's not joined. So you have to keep making sure that it's pushed down. And then I'm going to cut that off because it's another fiddly bit now. A super fiddly one for you this week. So I hope you're up for the challenge. But it is very pretty, it is worth it. So when you're happy with the wires going around the stone, you're happy with the shape, you're going to bend all 3 wires at the same time. Try not to lose your shape too much. And you're going to post them over and through the gap. And they're going to go straight down. Hooked mine on that little bit of wire there then. You need to make sure when you pull it down now, these stone's not going to pop out, so these wires definitely need to come across the stone, because they may pull to the side and then your stone will pop out. I'm just pushing it down at the back now so it's flat. Going to do the same with the other one. So I'm going to take these 3 wires, holding it upside down, and post those through. So I'm doing the same as I did before. And again, you want to make sure that they are going over the stone nicely. And then when you're happy with the shape, bend them down flat at the back. I've straightened those wires at the back. I'm going to now curve this one around. And this one around, like that. And the third one, I'm going to carefully bend back through. So that's our anchor, so that'll hold it in place. Just makes it a bit more secure. You don't want to pull it too tight. I'm going to put a little curl on that, just a little one. Do the same for the other side. I'm going to put a curve on that one. I'm going to put a curve on that one. And then this one, I'm going to post back through, without misshaping it too much, hopefully. And add a little curl on that side. Just a little one. So now with these, I'm going to secure these around that base frame. Again, trying not to misshape those nice curves. I'm going to do that to the other 3 as well. So I've attached that at the 4 points, the wires at the back. And now I'm going to cut them, so I'm going to pull them back a bit so that they do finish at the back. And then I shall squeeze them back around again. Nearly done. Just got to finish off our curls on the corners. So now using a round nose pliers, we'll add some curls to these little wires that are left on the 4 points there. As my dog's decided it's time to get up and have a potter about. I just push it down when I've curled it. And curl this one around. And this last one here. And we're nearly done. And I did forget to mention, as I always do, we're going to need a jump ring to the top there. Always forget about the jump rings. So I've added my jump ring. And there you have it. You can use any size jump ring you like. It's just something to pop your cord through or your chain. I think mine's about 8mm outside measurement. Yes, there's something a bit different for you this week. I hope you found it okay to follow. And I didn't confuse or lose any of you too much. So thanks for watching my videos, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I do appreciate it. And when you're sharing your work online, and I would really love to see all your finished pieces, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Please mention me, Kelly Jones Design. Thanks everybody. Bye.